Hi. Okay, so today I want to show you our foundations because they're amazing. I love our foundations. That's one of my favorite things. Foundations and mascara are, I can leave the house and that's all I need sometimes. So let me just take you through a little bit of what we have. We have cream foundations. We have powder foundations. Now we have liquid foundations, which are amazing. Liquid's my favorite. And we also have our BB creams. So we have a little bit of everything depending on your skin type, if you're dry skin, combination skin, or even oily skin. I always use our Glorious Primer that we have first, which is for face and eye. That helps it last way longer, and if you're somebody like me that's always touching your face, it's really good for helping it last no matter what. Okay, so this is me trying our Liquid Mineral Touch Foundation. And I have velour. I also have taffeta too. For me, it just creates, it's a tiny bit darker than my skin, so it just looks like I have a little bit of a tan, so I can go between either. But I'm going to use the velour because I like to be able to add the bronzer on top and it not to be too much. So let's see that. So we're going to use our powder puff brush. And this one is called Photoshop in a Bottle. You'll see why. But as you can see, it doesn't take a lot, and using the powder puff brush is awesome. And it's a liquid that turns to a powder, so it just blends into everything perfectly. Okay, what do you think? Now I'm just gonna dust with the bronzer just quickly. So that's our Liquid Mineral Foundation with powder puff brush and bronzer. I love the coverage of this stuff. This is amazing. Our cream foundation. This one is really good if you need a thicker, heavier coverage depending on your skin texture. This is really good. It covers any kind of scar. Actually, all of our foundations are really good for coverage. Our liquid foundation even can cover permanent marker. So all of our things can cover tattoos, anything that happens to your face, pretty much. This is actually good. I used to use this just as our under eye concealer before we had the Skin Perfecting Concealer in liquid. Okay, so I've just done half of my face with the Touch Velour Cream Foundation. So it covers really, really well. But just for me, I don't really like, it's creamy, so it's dewy, like really dewy. So I like the powder foundation, a little bit powder, or the liquid that turns to a powder. But as you can see, the coverage is amazing. Okay, so I just wanted to show you, so I used our brush to apply on this side, and then I used the sponge that comes inside to apply on this side. So I actually prefer the brush application better. It just seems to highlight way better. It seems to sit on the face a lot better. So just so you can see different ways to apply. Okay, so now I'm going to use our pressed powder in velour. The pressed powder is my favorite out of everything before we had the liquid foundation. So we had the cream, we had concealers, and then we had this. I like it just because my skin is combination, so it can work with anything, but just the feeling left, and the coverage is really good on it. Okay, so now I have that powder foundation all over with the Glorious, so I love how that covers. That stuff is amazing. It's so fast and easy. I do prefer the brush, but they do have the sponge included inside. And I'll just finish up with the bronzer. And the powder puff brush is awesome. Definitely notice difference in how it feels. Okay, what do you think? So that's the pressed powder, bronzer, and the Glorious, of course, to start. So, like you can see, all of our foundations are awesome for coverage. I'm not using any of the concealers yet in any of these, but yet they cover like without a blemish. And I have this down here, which always covers perfectly with all of our foundations. Okay, so quickly, just our BB creams are hydrating and tinted. So if you have dry skin, these ones are awesome. If you don't want a lot of color coverage, this is what you want. If you want heavier coverage, if you need more of a cream, it does help with hydrating as well, the cream foundation. And then we have our pressed powder foundation. This is one that I love. I love powder foundations for when you're running out and about. It's super easy because you can take it and just, if you need to do any touch-ups or anything for an evening, powder foundation is awesome for that. And of course, if you have oily skin or combination skin, this one can work really well for both. And then we have our newest liquid foundation, which is awesome, which my favorite has always been a liquid foundation. And this is liquid that turns to powder if you put it on the powder puff brush, and it'll blend in perfectly. So it takes like 2 seconds to do. It's awesome. And so we have two different concealers. We have a powder concealer that came out first. The powder concealer is really good because you can use it wet or dry. Just wet your concealer brush first before dipping it in. It's also great as a loose powder to set your face. I always use this. This is awesome for just creating the perfect blend, especially if you've just done contouring too. It just seems to create the perfect set. So our liquid concealer is great, especially for under the eyes, any darkness, bags, anything. Again, any blemishes. And you can also use it as a highlighter in different areas just to enhance your features and help your structure stand up a little bit more. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and if you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And if you want to purchase any of the products that we have, it's at www.lovethoselashes.brit.com. I'll have them in the comments below. And again, thanks so much for watching. Any questions, please let me know.